Fernanda. Welcome back to my channel, and if you're new to my channel, hi, I'm Fernanda. I am a first grade teacher here in Arizona, and this is my third year teaching. I've been posting videos about my teaching journey since my very first year, so if you want to watch those, I'll have a playlist link down below. Today's video is going to be all about my distance learning staples and I found that work really well for me, so I wanted to share those with you guys. So a lot of the things I'm about to talk about gear mostly towards primary grades, so just a heads up. Alright, so I have a list on my iPad, and the very first thing is a no-brainer, and that is SeeSaw. Back when this all started, I made a whole video dedicated on how I planned on using SeeSaw, and that is still basically how I use SeeSaw. My assignments, assign it to the class, students turn in their assignments through there. I have pretty much all my students turning in work through SeeSaw, with the exception of a few, maybe like 2 or 3, and those students are just sending me pictures of their work through another portal. So yeah, SeeSaw is great. I'll have my video on how I'm using SeeSaw linked down below in case you are interested. My next distance learning staple is definitely Zoom. I personally use Zoom to teach my lessons with my students, so I know a lot of people use Google Meet, and there's probably the equivalent to that on Outlook, but I use Zoom. My school is an Outlook school, and we never use Office. What is that? What is it called? It's Google. Google has Google Classroom. Teams. We never use Outlook Teams in my classroom, so I didn't want to overwhelm the parents and students with a whole new program, platform, I don't know. I have all the privacy settings that I can enabled, such as a password, the host, waiting room, and stuff like that. So far, knock on wood, 7 weeks in, and I've not had a problem with Zoom. Alright, my next staple has to do with Zoom. My iPad to share the screen. The reason I do that is because I go along with my lessons. So I also made a video on this. I'll have it linked down below. But basically, I upload my lessons onto GoodNotes, and I can go ahead and share my screen, and students can see what I'm writing and what I'm asking them. Just kind of write on it as if it was a whiteboard. It makes it a lot easier than if I just shared my screen on my computer, because I know you can still annotate on the computer while you're sharing a screen, but it's not always the easiest. But if I have my Apple Pencil and my iPad, it's just super seamless. So my next staple that I wish I would have implemented sooner is dry erase sleeves with different inserts. So I implemented this about 2 weeks ago, and I wish I would have done it right off the bat, but I just didn't think of it. So I ordered dry erase sleeves off of Amazon. They were about $20. I think they were about $20 for a 24 pack, and it also came with dry erase markers. In addition to that, I also made different inserts to go inside of them, and then I would just tell parents and students which insert they would need for that lesson that day. Typically, we'd only use 2 per day. This is what they look like. So I have one for open practice, spelling test, which I didn't really use, but just wanted there just in case I did. Place value, because we were doing a ton of place value things in math. Fact families, but I do have a mistake on this one. I have all addition symbols and no subtraction symbols, so we just kind of fix that while we're using it, or overlook that. I also have 10 more, 10 less, addition with regrouping, and then I also have a multiple choice thing. So the way I use this is I'll ask something, and they'll have the answers displayed on the screen with the corresponding shape. And then I just have my students circle and then show me on the camera what their answer is. And I also included a 120 chart. So again, I wish I would have implemented this way before. I'm super happy that I did end up implementing it, even though it was kind of late. It makes things a lot more interactive, because students are not just sitting there watching me solve a problem or like play around with words. They can also follow along, or I can ask questions and then ask them to write the answer, and then they just show me on their camera. So yeah, love that. Wish I would have done it sooner, but still, it's great. I'm gonna go get the other thing. Alright, so the next thing is this thing right here. I don't really know what it's called. Someone told me it's called a fortune teller, but I just can't remember what it's called, so we'll just call it that. But I made this, and I made it out of cardstock, so it's kind of like more heavy duty, I don't know. But we used it a lot for math. So I did talk about this in my previous vlog. I also talked about it on Instagram, but in case you didn't see that, I just use this for place values. So the way I would do it is I would show this on Zoom. I would pick a student, they would pick a color, P-I-N-K, they picked pink, then they would pick a number, they picked 1, I would open up that number, and then I would have them draw 3 tens in the tens place on their mat. Does that make sense? I'll insert a clip right here of me doing it on Zoom, and hopefully that's more self-explanatory than me sitting here and trying to explain it. Orange. O-R-A-N-G-E. All right, pick 3, 4, 7, or 8. 8. So this is going to be for a tens place. We're going to add 2. What's up? Yeah. 1, 2. I'm going to change the color so we can see it better. 1, 2. All right, last time we're doing this, let's go ahead and pick one last color. Have we picked yellow yet? All right. Oh, he picked yellow. All right, let's let him pick one color. Go ahead and pick one. Orange again. All right, O-R-A-N-G-E. All right, we can pick 5, 6, 1, or 2. 5. Oh, all right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Uh-oh, we have more than 10 in the ones place. Let's count how many we have in the ones place right now. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. We have 14 in the ones place. We cannot have 14 in the ones place. So what do? But this little thing comes in handy, and we use it a ton on Zoom. You can also see using this with phonics. So for example, maybe you could do this and have the outside one be consonants and then the inside ones be vowels or vowel teams or anything like that to make words and just practice decoding. So yeah, love this. Super cheap, doesn't really cost anything, and it's more engaging. All right, the next thing is not cheap, but I do think it's worth it. So last year I had bought a membership to Pink Cat Games on TPT. Fortunately, it had expired when this whole distance learning had started. So I bought it again, and I'm so glad I did. So with Pink Cat Games, you can either use games that are already made by other teachers, or you can make your own. So for example, I made my own for when we were learning about states of matters, where students would identify whether that thing I was showing them was a liquid, gas, or solid. And the cool thing about Pink Cat Games is that it gives you so many different game templates that you can use with the same game. So I'll go ahead and show you a little bit of what that looks like. Unfortunately, it's not free, and I think it's about $49 a year. So if you break it down, it's not too bad because you can use it for a year. It's kind of pricey up front, but I will tell you this, my students love playing this. They get really excited. Whenever I tell them we're gonna play a game, and they specifically love the one where they get to build a monster. So yeah. All right, my next staple is our virtual prize box. So in the classroom, I used to have a golden ticket system. It obviously didn't really translate very well with distance learning. So instead, I am using Dojo points. I already used Dojo for parent communications, so I went ahead and just started using it for like behavior management, even though that was never really needed. Distance learning behavior management system. So for every assignment that a student turns in on SeeSaw or whatever they are sending it through, I give them 1 Dojo point. Every time I want participation to be higher in a Zoom meeting, I also give Dojo points for participation. So at the end of the week on a Friday, we do prize box, and here are the things that my students can redeem their points for. So they can pick a Go Noodle for 15 points. That one wasn't really very popular, and in all honesty, I'm kind of glad it wasn't because it's a little bit awkward. The few times that we did it, like, some kids are just kind of sitting there, some kids are really into it, and then I just don't really know what to do. The next prize I have available, also for 15 points, is bring a teddy to a Zoom meeting, or a stuffy. I don't know what I called it. I think, and that one is also very popular. So yeah, they just bring a teddy to a Zoom meeting as long as it's not a distraction, and as long as they're not shoving it in front of the camera. Something else that students can redeem their points for is to change their background during our Zoom meeting. That one was for 35 points. However, not everybody could do it for some reason. I think it just depends on what you're using Zoom with. For example, whenever I have Zoomed with coworkers on my phone, I can change my background. When I was using my school desktop, I was able to change my background as well. However, now that I got a new laptop, I am not able to change my background on that. So some students were able to do it, some students weren't. So if a student had picked that for prize box and they weren't able to do it, I would just give them their points back. Our next very popular prize option was show and tell. I do have an afternoon check-in, which is more for social reasons, every single day at 2 p.m. and that is when students were able to do show and tell if they chose that prize. The way we structure show and tell is they would tell me what that was privately, and then that student would say a clue, open up the floor for guesses, and so on and so forth until we could reveal what it was. The next prize is skip 3 SeeSaw assignments, which means you basically skip a day of work. That one was for 50 points, and then show and tell was 40 points. My next one was a private meeting with me, because I found that a lot of kids wanted to stay after Zoom meetings to talk to me privately because they had questions, but it wasn't really questions. They were more things like, oh, like look at my nails, or like, oh, like I want to draw this. So I figured if they wanted that one-on-one connection and interaction with me, they could just pick it from prize box, and that was 60 points. And my last prize is what I call happy mail, and that is basically me sending that student something in the mail. That one has only been picked twice, and because the student lived fairly close to me, I just dropped it off at his doorstep, because honestly I didn't know how I was gonna send it in the mail. And I just gave that student a few books. So that is my virtual prize box, and that is basically it for today's video. Those are all the things that I can think of that are staples with my distance learning situation. Let me know what your staples are in the comments below, so maybe hopefully other teachers can get ideas and we can just help each other out. And yeah, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.